Hello again from my laundry room. Let's review the problem. Those of us who do our own laundry know that many articles of clothing nowadays require you to lay them flat to dry. So you end up with a load of laundry and there's many lay flat to dry articles of clothing, and you start laying them out here and there, and you end up with every surface covered with wet clothing. Now you might require a clothing rack or a drying rack, but they're cumbersome. You have to set them up, you have to wait until things dry, take them down, and it's a mess. So my suggestion is a better sweater drying rack. It has some features that I would like to keep, and the first being that it's compact. If you notice, this is a small box. Now this prototype is smaller than what I want the actual product to be, but still compact in box form, where the two handles, you can separate it. You will notice that there are magnetic strips on both halves of the box. The strips will anchor the rack to the appliance top because your appliances are magnetic. There are some new appliances with fiber board type tops, but because the strips are flat, you can still use this product because it will sit flat. Once you anchor it down, then you can pull the drying material that your articles of clothing will be on over to the other side, attach it, and this is obviously much flimsier than the actual rack will be, but it will hold it up so that things will dry faster because it will be wider and longer. This way, however wide your appliances, your washer, your dryer, if they're side by side, you can pull it farther across. If they are a small apartment size washer dryer, they would be smaller. So that would be one reason to not have it attached. But once it is, everything is dry, I would like this to be retractable, like a window shade. You pull it out, you attach it to the other side, and then it retracts, which this doesn't do very well. And then you close it up, and because of the magnetic strips, you can either leave it on here but closed up away so you can use the top of your appliances. You could stick it on the front so it's out of the way, or in my case, I have plenty of room here. I can stick it on the side so that it's out of my way. I had many suggestions for improvement on the drying rack, and let me address some of those right now. The biggest suggestion was that it being so small that it might be better if it were stackable. So there were a couple of suggestions. One was that it was more this shape, and this again is smaller than what I would suggest, but that it could stick on the side by having magnetic parts here, or if you put magnetic parts here, you could open both sides and pull it across this way with the rollers being on both sides. I thought if you were going to make it so that it would stick on your, have a magnetic part here, perhaps that could be your anchor. You could set it in here. These could come out, and somehow you would have the rack sitting this way. I've worried about strength-wise, but I'm not an engineer, so I'm not sure if that would work or not. Another suggestion that I was more comfortable with and understood a little bit better was sort of like a Lego. If you notice, I have these spools, but that these have yellow dots and there's yellow dots, and they would maybe magnetically set on each other, and this has blue dots, this has blue dots, and they could set on top of each other this way, but you'd have to have 2 units and maybe sell them in pairs. You'd pull this, you'd have the other unit here. For instance, this is more of the size of what it would actually be, this width. I don't have the roller material inside of this, but just using your imagination, this tape measure would work the same. There's a little clip here so that you would pull it across, and you can see that it will actually, like in my case, I could easily fit 2 sweaters here. And then have it retract back in. Or if you sold these in pairs and you had another one, they could maybe fit, these are pegs that could fit on top of each other like that, and then you'd have one sweater, one rack here and one rack here. As I said, the size, some people worried about the size. This I think gives you a little bit better idea of the actual size of the product I'm talking about. And the other thing is the strength. I think if this is on, if these hook together well, that it will hold the strength, a wet sweater. It will hold that. Bottom line is, I had a lot of comments, a lot of suggestions. I think that the Quirky community could do a great job with making an even better sweater drying rack version 2.0.